Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Connecting the World show, and I'm your host, Muniem Rizvi. Tonight, we had a guest, Mr. Jack Valentine from USA. Mr. Jack is a multi-talented person. He is my very good friend and became a friend on a Facebook. Who is Mr. Jack? I'm going to introduce himself in a brief introduction that he's an owner of Valentine Media Marketing. He's also an artist and musician. He's also a digital marketer, and he's also doing social media, running social media ads for different kind of companies, running as ad campaigns and promotion. Work with all type of businesses from startups to established and multi-million dollar companies. So without any wasting of my time, I'm going to invite my guest, Mr. Jack Valentine. Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Syed. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the Connecting the World show.
Awesome. It's really good to be here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jack. First of all, I would love to know more about you. Who is Jack? Where are you from exactly? And where are you nowadays?
Well, okay, that always changes. But so my name is Jake Valentine, like you said. Um, I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas. Um, I traveled throughout the US doing marketing, social media, as well as like you said, like digital advertising for clients from all over the world, really. Right now, I'm like focusing mainly on that because it's huge. It's super important, especially with the pandemic. Like a lot of businesses are needing like people like myself to help keep it going and keep it fresh and innovative. Um, I'm also a musician. I'm an artist. I had a gallery in Taos, New Mexico, and that one is like you said, Rebel Rebel Gallery. I curated. Oh my God, yeah. If you name it, I've probably done it.
Yeah, Jack, I know very well about you, but why I ask you about the introduction is that because my audience is different from your audience. So my audience maybe don't know about you, but I know that's why I ask you that kind. If you tell us, so the audience should know more about you. So Jack, let's start from your you are working in different kind of fields, and you have worked as you say, I named it and you did it. So we start from your company, Valentine Media Marketing. So first of all, let us know about Valentine Media Marketing. Why you give the name Valentine Media Marketing? What's the reason behind that?
Well,
Because
because I'm vain.
whenever we listen Valentine, it's came in our mind is 14th of February. So why you give that name?
So the reason that I called it Valentine Media Marketing, I went through several names actually with my business partner, um, that I did that I do real estate with, and and we were going through like a list of names, and he's like, "Look, you've already worked so hard to build a name for you, Jake Valentine. So why don't you just go with that? Like, it just makes sense." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it kind of does, huh?" Um, but actually, Valentine Media Marketing wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for um, the art. Like, I started off as an artist, um, insanely poor, like most artists do. Um, I lived like the artist lifestyle. I lived in like downtown El Paso and like the most amazing uh places that had like no utilities or like no like hot water, or there was always something. It's part of being an artist and stuff. Um, but I learned to market myself as an artist, and nobody taught me that. Like I did that myself. And here in El Paso, like you have to be really good at it, and you have to be like have a little, kind of step outside of the box because a lot of the things here are kind of done by the rules and by the book, and I've never functioned that way. So my eyes were always set on the world, and basically, throwing a net over it and conquering it. So what happened was I became known everywhere else, but in El Paso, like I didn't really have any traction here. But my marketing that I was like honing attracted my business partner. And so um, after, let's say, maybe 7 years of doing art, like nonstop, literally nonstop, um, I met my business partner and he was just like, you're pretty good at what you do. Like, how would you like to start a company? And we talked and we started a real estate company, real estate development company. And with that, and that one's Piney Pods. Um, it led to Valentine Media Marketing and led me to here. So everything kind of like feeds itself and catapults you to the next level, into the next level, into the next level. You know what I mean?
That's great. You talk about like from last 10 years you're working. So what are your marketing techniques? How you started your work? How when you think when you have like you know that now that I am a marketing person, I can do marketing. So what's the time when you realize that you are the right person for marketing?
Well, I went through some kind of schooling. Everybody has to kind of take some sort of like a direction, or like a to be instructed. So I took some of that. It didn't work for me, and I have a lot of clients as well that like take courses. They'll pay like 300. There's even people that talk about like 1,500 to take a course, and I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, why are you paying that kind of money? You just look for people like me, and we do all the work. But being one of the people that did this, I took a course, and thank God it wasn't that expensive. Um, but what it taught me was techniques. And as well, like I literally sat there for about 2 to 3 weeks, day and night, just learning and absorbing, everything different, everything. So in marketing, everything changes all the time. I mean, what works right now will not work tomorrow morning, you have to keep it fresh. That's the way I see it. And keep open to new ideas and stuff when it comes to marketing, especially digital marketing, because it's changing so fast. Because everybody's doing it now, so there's always new techniques and new ways to go. Um, and so, sitting there and really just honing these skills of ADD or being obsessive, um, I learned to do what I do really well. And the other thing is that um, with our real estate company, I wasn't willing to pay somebody tons and tons and tons of money to do something that I can do, you know, especially because as a small business, even, especially for small businesses, more to say, um, it's a lot harder to just fork up, $1,000, to get an ad up, to get let's just say a social media ad running. And yeah, like I learned to do this for our company, and that in return, like made
Jack,
us grow. Mhm. Well, it made us grow, and it made us be recognized by other people and other companies that were like, we want what you have, which is the talent and the know-how, the energy. And yeah, like it really just took us from being in Alto, New Mexico, which is like the country club area of New Mexico, one of them, to like resort towns like Red River and Taos, and then out of the U.S. So we became international with it. Mexico, Puerto Peñasco, Mexico, and yeah, it was just amazing. It's You just never know where this takes you, especially in marketing, because everybody needs it right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So that's kind of like the story. That's kind of the way it's gone from professionally, at least.
Okay. Okay, now Jack, as you told me that you have done a lot of things in your life, you're also artist. So let us know about your artist life. What kind of artist you are, and at what age you have started doing things like as an artist.
Whew,
And
that's touching a lot
and
too.
one more thing. Who was your inspiration?
Well, as an artist, God, because art is music, art is everything. So I grew up with I'm an MTV culture kid. I grew up during the days where they actually played music on MTV. Um, and um, I took a lot of everything from, from like pop culture. I took everything from like people like Andy Warhol and the Velvet Underground, although they're before me and before MTV, but I was aware of it because everything was kind of connected. I I I read a lot too. I read a lot of books, or I read a lot of books when I was younger. Now I don't have the time or the the energy to sit down and actually read a book. But to I put two and two together. I'm like, oh wait, like this correlates with this and Andy Warhol and Velvet Underground, and but MTV gave me like the visual, like it gave me something very visual. As you see, like it's different. I was able to like myself. I've always been different. Even as a kid, even as a child, I was always different. Inspired by like musicians and artists. And I won't name anybody. I won't like, crown them with like, hey, Jake wants to be like you. Because I always think that's silly. Like, I don't want to be like anybody. I want to be like me. But I'm like a sponge. So I take everything from anything that I touch and I just like become it, you know? Um, Art. So my favorite type of art is actually like pop art, pop surrealism, surrealism. So like Dali, Andy Warhol, um, people like my friend in LA, like Liz McGrath and Camille Rose Garcia. There's a lot of artists that they're just so amazing, and I'm so inspired by them because of their, you know, they became something out of like a genre or like a subculture basically, where it wasn't about the hoity-toity or the snobby little, art that, collectors this became collector stuff, and it was very shocking, which is I think that's what I'm very attracted to, is like shock value to art, music, and anything that I do. But I approach that in the marketing as that I want to make my clients work different. Like I want it to stand out from everything else. So I'm pretty shocking, in the sense that I look a little bit shocking, or people perceive me that way, or I get that a lot. Um, but at the same time, it's just like you get what you see is what you get, and which is you get a company that's gonna be different and not think the same as everybody else, because it's so boring to be like everybody else.
That's great. Okay, you have also have art gallery, so you are a curator, am I right?
Yes.
So what kind of curator you are? Like what kind of galleries you love to do? What kind of things you love to do as a curator?
As
Because
a
people have
curator,
different kind of genres.
the magic about having my own gallery was, or the beauty of having my own gallery was that I got to choose and pick what I wanted to do. I was in Taos, and it was very like everybody was like very like shackled and like kept to like a certain type of style and stuff. Some of them, not everybody. There, I met a lot of amazing artists that um, that I've tried to pull into like my realm. Um, but I love doing I love doing anything different, you know, like I like again, not for the well, yes, for the shock value, but more so for like it makes you think, you know, it makes you because art is supposed to make you think and it's supposed to provoke conversation and provoke an idea or inspire you. Um where you know if everybody does the same type of thing over and over and over, it's kind of like, well, what's the point? Like that's is that really art? Like, I think that's more of like might as well just get a screen printer and just do that, you know. But everybody just get a screen printer and do that. I don't know. It was I was very blessed and I was very fortunate to have my own gallery and have the power to say, um, I want that type of art. I want that artist, and I just made like a very like eclectic collective of people that had a lot of talent and they needed a spotlight. And just like me, you know, I needed a spotlight and somebody gave me a chance.
Got it. Okay, and now let's move towards your stories. As you told me that you have a lot of fun and you have a lot of full of stories. Yeah, like you have colorful character. So I would love to want to hear some stories of you. And
That was supposed
so
to be
so
between us.
people should enjoy that interview. So they should know the different view of Jack Valentine, and they never ever
Excuse me.
saw, they never ever listened Mr. Jack Valentine telling some kind of beautiful stories about his personal life, or like he did something naughty, or say he did something exceptional.
All right. Okay. You're forgiven this time. Um, but I mean, I think everybody's very colorful, you know. Even if you have like a very mundane life, you know, there's things about everybody's life that makes them different and makes them stand out from everybody else. Nobody's the same. I don't care if we all bleed red, you know, it's gonna be a little shade, a different shade of red in the end. But yeah, like I grew up, so I grew up in El Paso. Um, I grew up kind of everywhere in the sense that like you know, I wasn't like I didn't really have like the stability to be like in one place all the time, which is amazing because now it suits me. Now I work with it and I use it as a as a plus rather than like a ooh you're unstable. You know, it's an amazing thing now because I can pick up and go and you know if I need to go to Mexico tomorrow, I need to go to Mexico. If I need to go here, I go here. Um, but that's the colorful part. Like I grew up around a lot of different people. A lot of my friends were like gangsters, and, or I don't know if you're familiar with like the cholos or cholas. You know, like I grew up in not a bad neighborhood. It was just like my friends were different, just like I was. They were, you know, they would conform to like any of the stuff. Pardon me, it almost came out. The stuff that most people conform to, and it's a form of rebellion in a sense. But you know, I learned a lot of different types of music because of that, or I listened to a lot of different types of music because of them. Um, I got to. I also grew up around a lot of military, so I did have some military friends, and I got to taste like different foods. So I was cultured a lot sooner than most people are. Unless you're military or you know you're privileged to like travel or um, it was just very different. So that's what I call colorful is that I was instantly like just regardless of circumstances or anything like I had culture just coming at me like left and right. Um, the other thing is that I've always been very adventurous and very daring. I was never scared of anything or anyone, and I took chances. So I, you know, did plays, and I was in theater. Um, the best line that I ever heard, which is, why when we were preparing for this, you saw me like, does my hair look good, man? Like, is the lighting good? I had a theater teacher once tell me that he's like, I was very shy when I was younger, and he pulled me aside one day, and he's just like, Jake, I'm gonna tell you one thing, and if you can remember this for the rest of your life, it'll take you far. And he's like, just always act like there's a camera on you 24/7, and you will never fail. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Well, now it clicks, because that's the way life is now. Like, I don't step outside without looking like there's a camera on me. Like, you don't want to look bad or sad or or crappy or anything. You want to look good and you want to feel good because it makes you feel good. Um, that's the colorful side of this. It's a little bit like, sporadic and crazy, but so be it. That's a human.
That's great. Okay, tell me, why did you try yourself as you did theater? Why didn't you try yourself in a movie or in a film or in a short film? Like, why didn't you try yourself as an actor?
Um, because of what it takes, I guess, not, I don't know, like, I think it's, God, my actor friends are gonna hate me. It's very soul sucking. It'll literally like pull life out of you. Um, if you let it, of course, but I just don't. I was very occupied with everything that I had going because I was also like a DJ, um, bartender. Um, I put like events together, so I just never really had the time to be like, oh, you know what? I think I want to try acting. If it comes along like now in life, like maybe, but not right now though. There's too much going on.
Okay, now let's talk about, like, you have worked with different kind of people. You have worked with startups, with to establish business, $1 million companies. I would like to know how was your experience to working with a small startup and working with $1 million company. So, what is the main difference between both of them?
It's funny because I had this conversation the other day, with a friend of mine, and I treat them all the same. Um, I treat them, somebody like, a business owner will come to me. It's like, what can you do for me? I'm like, it's not really going to be for you. It's going to be for your company. It becomes its own like entity. It becomes its own beast, as I call it. And you have to feed the beast, which is like, ads and promoting and social media advertising, because that's where everything's at right now. Everybody right now, although everything's kind of opening up, throughout the world, in some places, businesses are very much um, they're relying on like marketing in some way or another, and a lot of people just don't know how to do it. So I do treat it very much like I don't differentiate like, okay, you're like a big company and oh, you're a small company. Like, it's like, nope, you're all the same. Like, what I do for you, I do for you. It's just I'm very not mechanical because I'm not mechanical in that sense, but there's a stamp of this is the way it should be to kind of get you on the road to success, whether you listen to me or not. Like, that's another thing, because I think that's like a huge thing right now is because everybody's so like, on the internet, and everybody thinks that they know it all, and they don't. Like, you really don't, unless you've taken some marketing courses and you know what you're doing. You really don't know anything because it's always changing. And business owners try to think like, well, I know how to do this. It's like, well, then go for it. Don't hire me if you're not gonna listen to me, because I'm only here to make your business successful. That's it. That's it.
Exactly. Okay.
And I hate sounding so cold and icy, but that's just the way it is, and I don't. There's no way around it, because then you're just wasting time.
Exactly. Okay, Jack. Now tell me how you take out your time for so many things. Like you are a creator, you are an artist, you are doing a digital marketing, social media ads, and then you are also doing a marketing for Valentine Media Marketing, as you are the owner of that company, and you are also doing a real estate development. So how you are managing time for every kind of thing? It's if I'm reading your whole about yourself, that it's look like it's too much hard life, where you don't have some extra time for yourself. So how you manage all these things in a quiet day, in a very very day?
Well, can you see the black like circles under my eyes? First of all,
No.
you, good lighting. You know what? Like you can't, just like everything in life, you can't take it too serious, and it's hard to like really go by that sometimes. But you just kind of take it one thing at a time. I've learned that now. Especially because I love taking. I have to be busy. I'm not one of those people that can sit there. I don't watch television for one thing. I don't watch any television. So if you ask me about the news, the world could be exploding right now, and I'm like, oh, more rosé, please. I. It's a waste of time for me to watch television. Um, that is very much a luxury. Um, it's basically just focusing, taking one thing at a time. Or, there's people that can like multitask and do several things all at once and get it done. My thing is working smart. That's for sure. I'm not a hard worker. If That's one thing. I learned that from my business partner. He was amazing in the sense that he always told me, he's like, Jake, you can work really hard and make, what did he say, 10 cents, with your hands, you work really hard. Or he's like, or you can work with your mind and make 10 grand. What, like, how do you, differentiate that? And it's just like priorities, you have to learn to prioritize, and really just learn not to take things on if you can't, and learning to say no to people, because as a business owner, I find myself saying yes sometimes to people that I'm like, I should have just said no. Because you can't help everybody. You really can. Um, I think that's kind of like the way I'm working it now. I wasn't as smart like let's say 3 years ago, 2 years ago, but I've learned really hard. You learn some hard lessons really quick if you're smart.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jack. It was such a fun to talk with you. We talk on different kind of topic. We talk on about digital marketing. We talk about your life. Told us some stories regarding your life. It was such a wonderful session with you. As we are going towards the end of our session, I would love to know some good message from your side. So kindly give some a good message, a message of love, peace beyond the boundaries, so we can end our session with a good message.
Um, the only message that I can give right now, because it's very like in your face, is you've got to love yourself. You've got to love you for everything that you are, whatever you are. Um, Before you love anything else, and before you think that you can change the world, you got to change you. And yeah, there's a lot of amazing things happening right now that I think people will be ready if they just open their minds.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jack, for a wonderful message and a wonderful time you gave to me. It was such a awesome interview with you. I love the way you talk. I love the way you tell, give answer of my questions. Thank you so much once again. Now we have to end our session here. Take care. A good night from Pakistan and a
Good
good
night.
afternoon for you. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care. Bye bye.